Hey everybody, welcome back to Distinctive Living. We've got another episode of What the is it? This came to me the other day and I wasn't sure what it was. From certain angles it looks kind of like an old-timey lawn sprinkler. Sometimes it looks like a strange little satellite disc or I don't know, but it's pretty easy to figure out when you see the front of it because this is the Salad Chef, I believe by the Presto company. Over many decades, there were a few different eras of them. The top comes off. You have this little base that is kind of rubberized, so it sits on the counter. It's literally like the world's first salad shooter. It is the most basic thing. There's no gears, nothing. There's a crank, a shaft, a really kind of dangerous blade, and a tiny chute. Don't know how much food's going to fit through that. Absolutely zero safety guard. So only for the love of YouTube, I'm going to risk fingers and life here. And we're going to see if this thing works. So let me know in the comments if you think it's going to work or if you think I'm just going to destroy some produce here. So I've got a cucumber and a couple other things. So we're going to see if it works in just a second. Okay, so I've got my cucumber here and we're gonna see how this thing works. It's a little awkward. I can't figure out, there's a few things that just already don't work for me. For example, if I put the cucumber in here and turn the crank is gonna hit the cucumber. So I'm gonna have to cut my cucumber into two pieces in order to clear the crank. Now, I don't know whether this is left-handed or right-handed. This is certainly awkward. This doesn't feel much better, but let's just see how it goes. Well, you only get one thickness of slices. They are pretty paper thin. But I have to admit, the slices look pretty good. Now I'm getting down to the very edge. I don't want to cut my finger, so I'm leaving that there. So here you can see from the treacherous side, there's those spinning blades. I mean, this makes really short work of slicing that cucumber, even though I had to do it in two sections. So if you needed a bunch of very thin cucumber slices for something, I would say this works. Not sure what you would use these for. They're too thin to make pickles out of. I think you would end up with just flabby, gross pickles. But I guess you could make those little thin cucumber sandwiches. If you had like a group that you needed to make little dainty cucumber sandwiches, you could crank them out with this thing. All right, next up we have cabbage, and I'm going to see how it does with coleslaw. Now, to be honest with you, I typically just make coleslaw with a knife. I don't like it with shredding discs because it comes out way too fine. But the problem that I run into with a knife is that I don't necessarily get an even shred. So this will make a perfectly even shred, I know that. It's kind of awkward because I have to cut it into quarter wedges, but I'd probably do that anyway. And the good news is that it fits within the chute. So let's see how this goes. I'm making a mess. Well, part of the problem I'm running into is that cabbage is kind of rubbery and it sort of wants to stick in this little chute. And of course, I'm pushing it with my left hand, but that's not going to work. So all right, well, it works. The shreds are perfectly acceptable, maybe even a little fine, but it's very awkward to use. Hi, Mazda. Tell everybody hello. Next, we are going to do cheese, shredded cheese, and see how that works. Now, I will tell you, cheese shreds beautifully in a modern food processor. However, I rarely pull my food processor out to shred cheese because a microplane works beautifully. But we're going to give this a try. I've got two different choices. One of these is very fine. I think you would use that for Parmesan cheese and hard cheeses. This one is a little bigger, and it's what I'm going to use for cheddar cheese, which is what I have. I'm going to put it together so you can see just exactly how simple this is. This is this little whole cowl setting that fits in there, and then it just goes on and kind of clips in place. Then it has a shaft connected to the crank, and then this little piece just pops in there, goes behind a little nubbin in there, and then there's a little D-shaped flat sides of that drive shaft, and then you just put this wing nut on, and now we have just shifted from slicing to shredding. I do like the way its little feet accommodate the plate up underneath it so that you're not getting stuff all over the counter. So I've got cheddar cheese here. It's kind of refrigerator cold. I didn't take this out very long ago. So let's see how this goes. It's making beautiful shreds. I really like that. It's going really fast. It is kind of throwing it around a little bit, but I could probably, if I used a smaller side of the cheese, the shreds won't be so long. I would say for cheese, this is a win. And especially if you needed, that little bit of cheese wouldn't have been that hard to do on a microplane or a box grater. But if you had a lot of cheese to do, that would go really fast. And in the days before food processors, I'm sure this was a welcome addition. You know, I would guess that in the 1960s, these made a whole lot of cheese balls because that was a big thing in the 60s to make a cheese ball, and you would mix this up with cream cheese and mayonnaise, and you'd make it into a little ball, and then maybe you'd roll it in some pecans, or you'd put little olives on the outside of it. Cheese balls. They were a big deal in the 60s. And in terms of washing up, this should be pretty easy to clean. I mean, that comes out, this comes off. I see no reason why this couldn't go in the dishwasher. It's stainless steel, or it can just go into a sink full of soapy water. So that's easy enough. So when you look at what we accomplished in this very short video, we've got cheese, and if we had lettuce, this is cabbage, but if we had lettuce, cheese and lettuce for our tacos, we've got cucumbers for our cucumber sandwiches or for a big green salad. So I think there could be room in a kitchen for the salad chef. What do you think? Let me know in the comments if the salad chef is something that you would make room for in your kitchen today.